Hey everybody, what's happening? Move, Think, Smile followers, Freedom from Fatigue group fans. It's Adam coming at you live here. And today we've got something, well, really quite unbelievable. This is our client, Richard Gilman, and he has done some just amazing things in a very, very, very short period of time. Now, Richard, I really want to get in. I want to talk. I want to tell everybody about all this crazy success you've had and all these cool things that you've done. But I think it's really just more important. It's like, why don't you just, I'm going to let you tell the story, and why don't you just tell people, who you are, where you're from, and kind of what you do, and that kind of thing.
All right. So my name is Richard Gilman. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm a contractor. I'm in central New Hampshire, and I'm 55 years old. And starting about 3 years ago, well, it's coming up on 4 years ago now, I had a really, really stressful job. It was really hard. There was a lot of traveling. It was a very difficult customer. And it just kept getting harder and harder and harder the more we went. And I was putting in a lot of hours. It was a lot of stress. And I was getting really run down. I said, when this job ends, I need to take a couple weeks off. So then a couple weeks turned into a couple months. Pretty soon, next thing you know, a couple months turns into a couple years, and I just couldn't get it back. Every time I tried to do anything, I was in a lot of pain. I was exhausted. Every day I'd have to take a nap. I'd have to have somebody, one of my kids, drive me to the job to go check on the work. And really, by the grace of God, the jobs just barely made enough to cover the bills, with just me, working in the office a couple hours a day, napping a lot, and my guys doing all the work without me. We got by for about 3 years like that. And then this past fall, we had a couple jobs delay, and we had to take some less profitable work. We started falling behind. We got way into the hole. And by December, we were in a really bad spot. I ended up having to borrow $45,000. Thankfully, I have a really good friend. My Christian brother loaned me $45,000 to keep the business going, and we stayed afloat. And this, was still looking really tough because, now we're still just barely scraping by. And by March, we found the Move, Think, Smile, and I had tried everything. I've been to every medical tests. At one point they found some blocked arteries. They planted stents. I went to cardiac rehab, and I was still exhausted.
Okay, so let's break pieces of this down real quick. Okay. Okay. So when Richard came to us, he called us up in March, just a couple months ago. For 3 years, let's tell people what's going on. You were waking up exhausted.
Yeah,
every day.
I wake up more and I went to sleep and in pain. It's like when I laid there for hours, all my muscles stiffened up, and it was painful just to it took me 5 minutes to get out of bed.
Yeah, I think when we chatted, you're like, yeah, in order to go to the bathroom more, it's like 10 minutes. Like I get up beside the bed and I just got to I can't move. Like my muscles ache so bad. Right. And if I remember right, you were saying that you were exhausted by what, 11 a.m.?
Yeah. By 11, I would typically get started around 9, and by 11, I'd be exhausted and I'd have to nap, and then the nap would, go through, I'd eat a little lunch. It would take me like an hour to recover from the nap. By the time I'm ready to do anything again, it would be like 2 or 2:30. I'd be good for another half an hour of just, phone calls and a little computer work, and then I'd be done for the day. So at max, I was putting in about 3 hours of, really minimal energy work a day.
So let's break this down even further. So on the job, I remember we talked about how you had made a phone call to somebody and your brain fog was so bad from the exhaustion that you forgot who you called.
Yeah, that happened a lot. I call one guy, and I, there were a couple different customers named Tim, and I called and asked for, Tim, one name, and they're like, we don't have anybody here by that name. So I'm like, well, how about this other name? And I just keep guessing. Yeah, we got one of them.
Well, I mean, it's funny now. It's funny now, but that could have been like detrimental, right?
It was embarrassing. It was really embarrassing. Yeah. And I'd be going places, forget where I'm going, be right in the middle of working on something and not be able to concentrate and just have to stop because I just couldn't. The brain fog was so bad that I could just barely function. And I'd have to wait until I get like a little burst of energy for an hour, do what I had to do, and then, go back to being useless.
So, so that was like during the day, right? And let's kind of like back people up a little bit. Like before this all happened, like you're a commercial carpenter, right? So
Yep.
you're taking on big, no joke projects with a lot of code and stuff like that. And I know that you usually talk about installing doors and doing cabinets and things like that. And
Yep.
I remember you were quantifying, it's like, if I could just put 40 doors in a day again, I'd feel good.
Yeah. And that was, pretty natural. I mean, we have these little systems, are like a Henry Ford style doing construction, but, we're a production line, but, I could put in 40 cabinets by myself. And I did that, on a regular basis. And,
But that wasn't happening anymore.
Oh, no. I mean, I had all I could do. At the worst of it, I had all I could do to be at the job for an hour and just talk to people and say, this, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. If you don't fix this, we're getting fired.
Right. Right. So, and to try and make it through the day, I remember you had said that you were drinking at least a pot of sludge coffee.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just kept filling the filter, deeper and deeper as much as nobody else could drink my coffee. But yeah, I would have a couple cups of that to get going, another cup to boost it on. And it was, just you could never get enough.
Yeah. You were still exhausted by 11 a.m., still tired, right? And wiped out.
Oh yeah. I'd be all jittery and still tired.
That's crazy. So, and I remember we talked about where you, like your family, so Richard's got 8 kids, right? Yep. How many grandkids?
3 that live right next door to me.
Okay, 3 grandkids that live right next door. So it is, and a couple of your own kids still at home, right?
Yeah, yep. There's 4 that are, only one is still a minor, but they're basically, teenagers.
Okay, right. So you got 8 kids, you got 3 grandkids. I'm sure there's more coming. Just we don't know when yet. But being able to do things like your kids are pretty outdoor people. Like I know you're a boat guy, and you guys like to do things. But what would happen if you like went out to go walk with them during this time?
Oh, I couldn't. I mean, they would just say, hey, we're taking off. It's no point in asking me to come. I mean, occasionally they would say, do you feel like going? I need to rest. And if I have company, like my older kids are grown and have lives off, in various places. One of them's living in Texas. They would come to visit, and I'd be trying to visit for a couple hours, and I'd say, I'm sorry, but I just have to go lay down for an hour, and right. I'd have to go take a nap, and then try to visit after. Just couldn't stay awake or alert for more than a few hours.
Now, if I remember right, you were telling me that if you would go and actually do something, right, like you would feel it, like you'd be wiped out for like 2 or 3 days.
Oh yeah. If there was something at work that I had to do, and I got somebody to help me and just push through the day, it would take me a good 3 days to recover from that. And I couldn't.
Yeah, and you were even saying like even if you had to go up a couple flights of stairs, like that would wipe you out.
Oh yeah. I'd get winded, climbing stairs, trying to go up the stairs to bed at night. It's like I got one hand on the rail and one hand on the steps, just trying to make it up the stairs. It was really bad.
Yeah, and Richard, and tell everybody, what was going through your head at this time? What were you thinking?
Well, you try not to get too dark, but it's like you wonder, am I ever going to be able to do anything ever again? Is this this has gone on 3 years, 3.5 years. They can't find anything wrong with me. Then you wonder, am I nuts? Is this all in my head? Do I need psychotherapy? Do I have some really horrible disease that they just can't find? Am I ever going to be able to do anything? Or, is this what I'm going to have to adapt to for the rest of my life?
Yeah, I know it sucks. And when he says, guys, when he says they, right, he means, you're actually seeking medical attention from doctors.
Oh, yeah. I've been, I went to cardiologists, I went to naturopaths, I went to I even, for at one point, they thought I might have Lyme disease, test negative. They did this other crazy test in California that, said, I was getting ready to go get, you know, overloaded with antibiotics when somebody said, no, stop, don't do that, And, just every possible thing that, could, find some thing that was wrong. The good news is I was in perfect health because every single test came back totally normal. Nothing wrong with my prostate, no signs of any cancer, nothing wrong with anything.
But you were exhausted.
Yeah, it's like if you could just find out what's wrong with me, then I could get better. But the good news is there's nothing wrong with me.
So yeah, I'm giggling because I know where this is going, and it's so great. And guys, when I first saw Richard's face in one of our live trainings, he did not look like he does now. He was pale, very corpsey looking, very frail, and I'm pretty sure you had a struggle just carrying light objects, probably.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, people would time I had, bags of groceries. Oh, let me get that for you. And, I say, okay, sure, take it. It wasn't, I wasn't too proud to get the help. It was hard.
Yeah. On a bag of groceries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. And, and I know you had a very supportive family, but, how do you think this was impacting them?
Well, I think it was hard. I mean, it's like even still, so my three youngest are now, 20, 18, and 16. And I feel like, I missed 3 years of doing stuff with them. And, we had, on the bright side, a little bit, I was home more. So I feel like that was a benefit, being around more because I was a bit of a workaholic. But, the quality of my existence was so poor that, we couldn't really do anything or, go places or have fun. They would, so now it's almost like they're in a habit of just going places without me. So,
right. So you're in the same house with them. Yeah. You're in the same house with them, but you're not like actively, you couldn't do anything.
Yeah. It felt like when I was a kid, I had a grandfather that was bedridden and he came and stayed with us, for a while. And it was like, yeah, he's my grandfather, but, you can't even hardly hold a conversation. He's not able to get up and do anything or participate in anything. So it's kind of like, being this ancient grandfather that's just there, but you can't participate.
Is that what was going through your mind? The image of your grandfather, like, oh my God, is that me? Is that what I'm going to become?
It kind of, it came and I, kind of, shunned it. Like, no, we're not thinking that. But, it did come around,
I hear you. And so the business was taking a hit. Like you said, it was staying afloat, but it was basically treading water, right? You took out a big loan.
It wasn't stable enough to take any pressure, which is what happened. Once the pressure came, it was
right.
lost.
And I remember we talked about, you gotten your business to the place where it was successful and it could run more without you. And now that you finally got to the point where you had that freedom, right? You didn't have any energy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Now it's like, my whole life I'm like, oh, gee, I wish I could go to the lake today, but I have to be here at work. So now I don't have to be here at work, but I can't go to the lake because I'm too tired.
Because I'm too tired. Yeah. And, guys, again, we're giggling because, he's really transformed us around. We're going to talk about that in a second, but it was really serious.
Yeah. At the time, it was horrible. It was really horrible.
And, and I know his family, and I met some other people in his family, and they were very, very concerned, and, a lot of support, but nobody knew what to do. And then, and then you found us. You came across, you saw some of the stuff that we had done. You watched, I think you watched one of LA's workshops, and you were like, I don't know. What were you like? I guess, why not? Nothing else has worked.
Well, yeah. I was skeptical because, I don't know. It just seemed like, I guess, I don't know exactly why I was skeptical, but, when I talked to you that first time, I had nothing to lose. So I said, all right, I'll just give it a try.
Well,
And I said, but try this, I'm going to give it all I got.
that is what you said. But you also said, what if it doesn't work?
Yeah, I did say that.
You did say that. You did say that. And I said, well, what if we change that question around, Richard, to what? What if it does work?
It does work. Yeah. Yeah, that was compelling. I have to admit, what if it does work?
All right. So we're going to do a quick recap here. So 3 years of exhaustion and fatigue, waking up more tired than when he went to bed, muscle aches, couldn't get out of bed, barely move around. The business he built to be able to kind of like retire early and actually enjoy the lake. He couldn't enjoy the lake because he didn't have any more energy. And now his business was starting to not be as successful as it was. It was taking a little bit of a hit. Definitely the family wasn't there to be the dad that he wanted to be. And, you were just tired, and you tried the doctors, you tried a bunch of stuff, and people were coming back with tests saying you weren't suffering from anything, and no one could explain why you were so tired.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got on the phone. We chatted on a Monday. And then in no kidding, 72 hours after Richard said, I'm going to give it a shot and I'm going to commit to this, he posted this in our support group. I'm sorry, not that one. Oh, might be doing the wrong one here. Oh, there it is. You say, so first I want to say, yesterday and today are the first days I've not woken up in terrible pain in 3 years. And I wrote back, you mean to tell me just the changes we made since Monday, you're waking up pain-free? The body aches you had from the stress and the fatigue are gone? And you said, yes. I think I'm going to overcome this exhaustion. So glad I found you guys. So tell me about what was going through your head that first day. You're like, oh my gosh.
Well, I couldn't believe it. Like, we were just chuckling, but now, like, when you're reading that, my eyes are watering. Like, getting ready to cry, because that was, I don't know. I mean, it's beyond words to explain. But, I've never been to prison, but I imagine it's what it feels like if you've been 10 years in prison and then you get out. It's like one day you just walk out. Because it really was like, it was a sentence, because you don't know when you're going to get out. You don't know if you're going to get out. And every day is hell. And then you just wake up one day and it's like, you stand up and it doesn't hurt and you're awake and you're not tired. And you're like, I just blown away,
And
what it felt like.
And I remember I was like, okay, this is day one. Let's just make sure it's not a placebo, right? And I was like, let's check in the next day, right? Yeah. And then the next day you're like, still no pain. Okay, let's go one more day. Day 3, still no pain. My energy started to come back, right? So that's one of the reasons we call this, freedom from fatigue, Richard, is because of the words that you use to describe this, and it's like being in prison.
Yeah.
It's an invisible prison. You can't even see it.
Right. Yeah, it is.
And when you got when your energy started coming back, I'm gonna share something else here, which I think is just super duper powerful. And this was you wrote in our group. You said, made it 2.2 miles jogging. Never been able to do that my whole life. 22 minutes. What a rush. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, I've done a lot of things, really physical stuff, but I've never been a runner, never been able to run. I remember one time, maybe 10 years ago, I tried to run. It's about, a 2-mile track, and it just destroyed me. And I realized, this is not something, I had no training or no knowledge of how to do it properly, but, I'd never been able to do that. But it felt like, I don't know, when you run and you breathe right and do everything right, it's like you feel this incredible feeling. It's hard to describe, but you say, it's like my organs feel great, and then you get like that, the brain hormones, I suppose, or something that gives you the rush, the runner's high. It's just an incredible feeling, but it also, accentuated that feeling of, release. Like, not only am I out of prison, but now I have something that I didn't have before. So it's even better. I'm coming back better than I was.
And what did you have?
Energy.
Energy.
Yeah, a lot more energy. And it's different energy. Like before I had energy to work, just a working machine.
Right.
But this energy, I don't know how to describe the difference, but it's different.
I love it. I love it. Now I'm going to share a picture here of you and your kids, because right around that same time, you posted this picture. This is with you, with some of your kids, some of your grandkids coming out of the trampoline park. That's you in the background right here. And your hair's all messed up. Of course, you've been on a trampoline, and that was the first time I saw you actually smile.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a great time. I'd been to a trampoline park before with, a similar group, but I sat on a bench. I sat on the couch the whole time while everybody, I didn't even pay to go in because, that's just not something I'd be able to do. So I just sat on a bench while everybody else jumped. So this is the first time I went and, and actually jumped myself. And jump for the whole entire hour. And that was a lot more physical than
that's incredible. Cause I don't know if you know this, but they say that jumping on a trampoline for 10 minutes, is the equivalent of running a mile.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So. No. So, it really works your core really good.
Yeah.
But it was a blend. It was great not to have to sit out, to participate,
right.
And actually play with kids, and it was a tremendous feeling.
That's
Again,
cool.
It accentuates that freedom from prison.
And so
anything happened, it was like accentuating that, freedom from the prison.
I love it. So, and even though you were doing those before, when you would do something like going up a couple flights of stairs, you said you would be wiped out for a couple of days. It would take you 3 days to recover.
Yeah, well, the 3 days to recover would be if I had to go to a job and do some physical work. But it was hard. I would get winded. It's really hard to make it up the stairs.
Yeah, but it wasn't running 2.2 miles or jumping on a trampoline for an hour.
Not even an option.
Yeah.
To do those.
But when you did those, did you feel wiped out the next day?
No, it felt great.
Yeah. Okay. That's really phenomenal. And that's within the first 4 weeks that we started working with Richard, right?
Right.
It was just absolutely phenomenal. And do you think people started noticing? When did people actually start noticing that, you were showing up differently?
I should have marked it down. I don't know exactly when, but I remember it. People noticing the energy, people noticing, what they mostly comment on is the happiness, because I had been so, I tried not to get depressed over my condition, but it was hard to really enjoy anything because you're in pain.
Right.
And you really can't participate in anything fun. But people started noticing that I was happy, that I had, and the other thing that people commented on a lot was, my daughter calls it unnerving optimism. Like, like she would have some problem, like, oh, well, that's okay, just handle it this way,
Right.
And so yeah, a lot of the stuff has taught me how to think differently, and a lot of that, it's really been accentuated by my faith. A lot of stuff that you guys taught is tied into and accentuated things that I was already trying to accomplish mentally.
Yep.
Like mental blocks that I had in my personality, if you will, that I just couldn't get around, and learning how to control and analyze and optimize my own thoughts, helped me really make some big breakthroughs with my faith, with everything, really.
That's awesome. So now here, I like this one too. This is something else you posted. And this is about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks after you came into the program. You say, feeling really great today. I spent 3 hours unloading cabinets from the truck. It was exhilarating. The beast is back.
Well, Well, it's funny because I used to be able to do stuff like that, and I would have a lot of guys on my crew, and then it would be funny because I'm, older. I'd have to say, okay, I'm the guy that needs to unload the truck because I'm the guy with all the energy. And then I had to not even be there for a long time. So then I realized that day that I was unloading cabinets, the couple of guys that were on the job were not handling it. And so I just stepped in and took over. And I realized I was back to where I was before, where, I'm the guy with the energy. I need to unload this truck and make it easy for the guys because, they don't have the energy.
That is crazy. That is crazy. So what was it like when you made this post and your son, who you hadn't been able to do much stuff, and you said 5:30 a.m. this morning, Ben and I rode 27 miles, 2.5 hours. Training for Boston is on. And after lunch, I'm getting my first swimming lesson.
Yeah.
So what was Ben when you went up to Ben and said, "Hey Ben, let's and tell people what this trip to Boston's about."
Yeah. So Ben and I had been talking, while I was laying on the couch for 3 years. When I get better, we had all these when I get better stories. So when I get better, we're gonna ride bikes to Boston. Because I used to ride a lot. I'd gotten up to I don't know 47 miles. I don't have a road bike. It's a hybrid bike that I ride. But, so Ben's very athletic. He swims on a swim team. He works out at the gym a lot and he bikes. So, we talked about when I get better, we're going to ride bikes to Boston and back. It's 90 miles each way. So then when I started getting better, I said, yeah, now it's time, we've got to start making plans. We're going to do it. And he got all excited. And we started, putting together a plan and talking to Elia. She urged me to pick a date. So we set July 1st as a date. We're going to head out, and we do have picked out. We're going to buy a couple road bikes, and we're training now. Last Sunday we got up to 39 miles. So, we're just going to keep building till we get up to that. But yeah, that day was exciting because, that was the first long trip. Not that that's huge, but, if you hadn't ridden for years, it feels really good to be able to do that. And doing it with him, now it's something that we're bonding over because, whenever I talk to him, he says, "Oh, I saw this bike," we're talking about, different aspects or, gear that he wants to get or, this, that, and the other thing about the trip,
Oh, he's got to be stoked.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So Richard, put this in perspective. That's only 14 weeks after you woke up, couldn't get out of bed, and scheduled a call to talk with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like, well, I tell you one feeling I had, like when I was in that state, it was like a nightmare. Like, I can't believe this is my life. Is this really happening? And now it's the opposite feeling of like a dream. Is this really happening? Because it's all changed so fast. It's definitely real. I mean, I'm really here and this is really happening, but it's a very surreal feeling.
It's what I mean, guys. It's not 14 weeks today. It's going to be 14 weeks on July 1st when he makes that trip.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's about 9 weeks right now since we first talked.
Yeah. Since we first chatted, you're doing all kinds of amazing stuff. And there's another picture. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, that's the close up of you. Here we go. This is you on your bike, and that's a giant. You got a giant hybrid bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the one that you just did 39 miles on.
Yeah, that was when we just got back.
Okay, I've got a hybrid bike and I've got a mountain bike, and I know that doing 39 miles on either one of those bikes,
yeah,
it's not a road bike.
It's not a road bike.
It's not a road bike by any means. So that's really, really freaking awesome there. Now let's talk about what I'm just like. I'm so happy that you're up. Your health is back. Your kids are noticing. Tell me about your business. Like, how are you showing up at this new superhero energy that you've got? What's going on there?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, the first improvement is I could spend more time at the jobs. And instead of, now things are booming and we've got like 5 jobs going, which I would not have been able to do it in the state that I was in. It would have been a complete disaster because I only had energy to go out and visit the job maybe once a week. So now what I do is, I go to all the different jobs, check on everything, make sure everything's being done right, which means there's less time fixing things. And then I can give tips on how to get it done more efficiently, have this guy do this, have that guy do that, and it makes it go a lot faster, which, of course, transponds into profits. So I believe when you and I first talked was March 18th. In that first 2 weeks, we went from just barely scraping by to, our invoices were about, I think it was about 40,000 above our costs. So that was a net profit. The next 4 weeks, it was up to 60,000. And then this last 4 week invoice was 80,000 above costs. So that's the financial results of me being there. But what I think is interesting is not just me being on the job, doing quality control and increasing the productivity, but I think my mental state has a contagious effect on my guys. When I come to the job and I say, this is going to be okay, this is how we're going to solve this, this is not going to happen this way, this is what we're going to do, decisive, positive,
Confident.
optimistic, confident. Yeah, absolutely. I think, people are way more productive if they know that somebody in charge has everything under control, knows what they're doing, and is handling it. So when they say, I need more help, and I get them more help. I need this, I need that. Boom, I get it, and it's done. I got one of my lead guys was telling me today, how great everything was going based on these couple of guys, and I didn't get it. He was giving me compliments, and I said, he says that was a thank you. He says, because he had been begging me for some relief, and I got him what he needed, and everything was going great. But just having a clear mindset that not only is this going to be okay, but this is going to be great. This isn't gonna be a problem. This isn't gonna, drag us down. We're gonna beat this. This is how we're gonna overcome that. And people really respond really good, and it makes their life a lot easier. Than drag around, everything's in chaos and it feels like nobody's in control and nobody's gonna fix it. You don't make any money if you guys think nobody's gonna fix it.
And so it was literally like, it's kind of like, when you come inside your house at night and you've got your outside floodlights on, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the lights are on outside, but you can't really see what's going on inside. All of a sudden you flipped a switch, right? And now you can see, right? And all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I can see what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is just, I know there's a solution. So it isn't a matter of, oh boy, this is too bad, this is going horrible. No, we're going to fix this, and I know how we're going to do it.
Yeah, your productivity shot through the roof.
Right.
I mean,
absolutely.
Your energy, your ability to problem solve, right? You basically, your brain power, the anxiety was gone, the overwhelm was gone, any signs of the depression were gone. You're no longer asking those questions. Am I doomed to live this way? Right? Is this going to be the rest of my life?
I get up in the morning and I say, wow, I wonder what's going to happen today.
Right. What am I going to be? What kind of personal record am I going to do today?
Yeah.
So guys, this is really critical. In your career, your business, if you're dealing with fatigue and exhaustion and you're waking up, and you don't even have to be as bad as Richard was, but if you're not at full throttle or plus that, you're limiting your potential. You're limiting your energy. You're limiting what you can do. And when he says he was up in 3 weeks, or not 3 weeks, in 3 months, up $198,000, no longer in the hole with his business, right? How's that got to feel?
Yeah, well, it feels really good. I mean, because, and ultimately, it is business and it is just money, but, it takes a lot of stress off if you don't have to worry about, you know, I remember sitting there praying like, boy, if I could just not have to worry about payroll every week, I'd be really happy,
Right.
So it's not like I'm going to run out and go on a shopping spree, but now, I can be confident that, I can focus on other things instead of wondering, am I going to have payroll this week?
Right. So, and I remember, and there was a side effect to this too, which I thought was really interesting. We just talked about this I think it was last week or the week before. And you're like, Adam, this wasn't even one of my goals, but I lost 15 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were telling me the story. You were walking down the street.
Right. Yeah. So you look in the mirror straight on, and I'm pretty thin that way, but if you get the profile, I have, the little belly, and, I didn't realize it, but I saw that, side two walking from the storefront, glass, on the sidewalk. And, I lost, I think, let's see, well, I was 168. I think I lost 15 pounds. I get down to 153. I'm back up to 155 right now, but, 153. I lost 15 pounds just, from, eating healthier.
Yeah. And getting your energy back and being active and just like, these are all the side effects. And I mean, what does it feel like when you get out of the shower now and you look in the mirror? Are you just like,
Yeah, feels great. Yeah. I know, like, we don't like to think that people judge you that way, but people do treat you nicer when you're thin.
well, it's not, but you're also showing up with like more energy too, right? So,
yeah. And I am, right. I am probably more friendly myself, feeling better.
Nice. And guys, this is really interesting. So, Richard came in mid-March and, really, really quick progress in a very short period of time, and then it's just gone up from there, hitting personal records, doing things he physically never thought he could do before. He never learned how to swim, even though he's a boat guy. Now he's taking swimming lessons because his energy's back. Right. And what I think's really even crazy is you've only done like a fraction of the program. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had amazing results with not even finishing the entire program yet. So
right.
What's going to happen when we get all of that underneath your belt, right?
Yeah. Well, who knows?
It's going to be awesome. It's got to be awesome. And I can't wait to see all the new progress. And I'm fairly certain I'm going to be meeting Richard here on the starting line of a Spartan race, not too far in the future. I think he's going to chase me down. I'm not even going to have to invite him. I think he's going to drag me with him. So Richard, what can you share with the people watching right now? What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I think that if you're in anything like the state that I was in, you do have to take control of the situation. You can't just let this happen to you. And, like what you call a bold move, you have to do something about it. You can't just take it lying down. And like I said, a lot of the stuff that you guys taught was, accentuated by, a lot of my own beliefs. So, I think that had a big effect on how big the effect was on me. But I think if you didn't have that and you only got a quarter of what I got, that would be worth anything you could do, because it's just not, I feel like it's just not acceptable to just, let your life go down the toilet when you could get it back.
Yeah. And if you can come in and you can have amazing results with 30% of, what we've got to give you and train you on, imagine what happens if you do 50% or 60% or 100% of it. And,
right.
Richard's had amazing results, and this was stress-related exhaustion, guys. It was burnout syndrome. And there was a lot of mental anguish and stuff going on in there. And, I just want to invite you, if you're dealing with fatigue, if you're dealing with stress-related exhaustion or burnout syndrome, or, you're waking up and you're tired, or maybe at the end of the day, you feel exhausted and you just don't have any motivation to do anything, and it's impacting your life and you feel like you're losing your edge. kind of like Richard was feeling like, I want to invite you guys to come over to movethinksmile.com/talk, and you can book a call with us like Richard did. Richard finally you got sick and tired of being tired, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I had been for a long time, and it felt like there was nothing I could do about it. Nothing was working.
Yeah. Nothing was working. Nothing was working. And I remember, Ellie and I were listening to the call that we had, that first one, and we were going through it all. And there were two things going on there. I heard a broken man, and I heard, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but I don't have faith anymore because nothing I've tried has worked. Those are the two things that I kind of picked up on. And that's when, you reached out and we're like, come on, let's bring you in. Let's make this happen.
Yeah. And the last one, after I had the stents and I had the cardiac rehab for, I don't remember how many weeks, but they teach you how to exercise, breathing. And I'm like, yeah, when I finish this, I'm going to be all better. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I finished the rehab and I wasn't better. And that was like, the last kick in the knees,
Yeah. Yeah. Always looking for a way. Well, Richard, man, I'm standing up right now. I've got my stand-up desk on because I wanted to give you a standing ovation and applause for just the massive progress you've had. You've been amazing. All the people, in the program and Move Think Smile have just been supporting and cheering you on. And it's so great every time we see one of your posts in there, just the progress you're making. And it's like, you're even inspiring me. I'm like, dang it. I gotta pick up my game now. I was like, I didn't realize this is crazy. Yeah. So I went outside today and ran 5.5 miles in 103 degrees here in South Carolina. I was like, all right, let's see if you can keep up with this one. Dragging myself at the end of the day. So guys, this is Move Think Smile is about energy, right? It's about smiling. It's about getting up and making the bold moves to get out of the crappy place that you're in now, to take on the fatigue. And if you're sick and tired of being exhausted, seriously, go to movethinksmile.com/talk, book a call to talk with myself or my partner, Elia. You'll be talking to us. You're not going to be talking to a call center or some robot, right? You're going to be talking directly with us. And, we can go over what's going on with you, what kind of fatigue and exhaustion you're going through, where you really want to go with things. And then we'll see, if we think you're a good fit and see if we can take you there. We could talk about that too. And on that note, Richard, you got any last parting shots for everybody?
No, I think we covered it.
All right. Well, thank you, Richard, so much. And, guys, come on over and we'll chat soon.
All right. Take care.